we're going to have a look at using the cosine rule to find an angle rather than a side. Now, it is the same rule, but it is given in a rearranged form when you're calculating the size of the angle. So if we start with the original one here, all we're doing is rearranging it to make cos A the subject to the formula, and we end up with this formula here. Now, it's given in this form in your formula list, and it is cos A is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. And again, the important point I want you to note is these need to be matching. So your angle that you're trying to find is opposite this side here. The b and the c doesn't matter which way around they go, they do the same thing. You square them and add them, you times them down here, so that's the exact same thing. The a acts differently, so that a is important you understand which one it is, and it's always the one opposite the angle that you are trying to find. Okay, looking at an example then. We've got triangle ABC here, and we want to calculate angle BAC. Same idea as before. BAC is this angle here. So it's angle A we're trying to find, which means that 15 is side A. Doesn't matter which one's B, which one's C. Okay. Formula for finding an angle then is cos A is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2bc. Put some numbers into this. Cos A is, and as long as we don't pick that one, doesn't matter which way around we do these, we'll do 17 squared plus 12 squared minus 15 squared all over 2 times, and then we're always using these two numbers here, 17 times 12. So this 1 at the end that you take away should only ever appear once. Okay, let's work that out then. So 17 squared plus 12 squared, take away 15 squared, all over 2 times 17 times 12 is 26 over 51. You can just leave it as a fraction just now and give you a more accurate final answer. If you don't have that fraction facility and you're calculating, it takes you down to a decimal, it's absolutely fine. It'll work out the same way just about anyway. That gives me cos A. I want just A, opposite of cos, inverse cos. So doing inverse cos of 26 over 51. So shift cos, I had that answer already in, so I could just press the answer button. And that gives me 59.3 degrees. Let's try another one. This time we want to find the angle BCA. So BCA is this angle here. So that's the one that I want to find. So cos A is B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2bc. Now remember, don't get caught up with the fact that A is actually 5 and this one's actually, it doesn't matter the names of them. It's where we use them that is important. Okay, so that 7 needs to go in the place of the A. So cos C, and the reason it needs to be the 7, I should have explained that, is that's the angle I'm finding. That's the side that's opposite it, so that must be my A. Doesn't matter which way around the other two go. So 10 squared plus 5 squared minus 7 squared all over 2 times, and it's always these two we use, 10 times 5. So cos C, type that into my calculator, it's 10 squared plus 5 squared minus 7 squared all over 2 times 10 times 5 gives me 19 over 25. That gives me cos C. I just want C. So we're doing inverse cos of 19 over 25. So angle C is, again I had that answer in so I can just use my answer button, 40.5 degrees. Okay. Next one then, just to show you what happens with a negative. Okay, we want to find the size of angle PQR. So there's P, there's Q, there's R. So I'm finding this angle here, which as you can see is quite a large angle. Big hint there. So opposite Q is this side here, 22.4. So that's the one that needs to be treated differently. Cosine rule, find an angle. Cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2BC. So cos Q is 19.2 squared plus 8 squared minus 22.4 squared all over 2 times these two here. We're going to use 19.2 times 8. Cos Q is 8 squared minus all over 2 times 19.2 times 8, which is minus 9 over 40. Now, when we were doing trig equations, I said don't ever put that negative into your calculator. This time it doesn't matter because we're not looking for two answers, because we are just looking for that angle, we can just type the negative straight into our calculator in this case. Okay, so second function, cos, and again that answer's sitting there, so we might as well use it. So we get 103.0, so 103 degrees will do nicely. Now that negative is because it's an angle greater than 90 degrees, and think what cos is in that quadrant. Between 90 and 180 degrees is in here, and in here sine is positive, so cos must be negative. That's why you're getting a negative value here. Okay, I'll leave you to practice some of those.